Matter comes up before the 5 judges bench of the Honorable Apex Court pertaining to the power under Article 142 of the Constitution of India as to whether the Honorable Apex Court can grant decree of divorce to the parties who had submitted their settlement under Section 13B of the Hindu Marriage Act without waiting for the 6 months period as mandated by the Section 13B. The Honorable Apex Court, through its Constitution Bench judgment in Shilpa Shailesh versus Varun Srinivasan decided on 1st May 2023, held that there are circumstances in which the parties have submitted their application before the court under Section 13B, that is for obtaining divorce with mutual consent, but they have to wait for the second motion, that is to be filed after 6 months. Or at the same time, their family terms have already come to a very difficult situation as put up by the Honorable Court in its following words. However, there are cases of exceptional hardship where after some years of acrimonious litigation and prolonged suffering, the parties, with a view to have a fresh start, jointly pray to the court to dissolve the marriage and seek waiver of the need to move the second motion. On account of irreconcilable differences, allegations and aspersions made against each other and the family members, and in some cases multiple litigations including criminal cases, continuation of marital relationship becomes an impossibility. The divorce is inevitable and the cooling off period of 6 months, if at all, breeds misery and pain without any gain and benefit. Such circumstances compel to exercise the extraordinary power provided under Article 142(1) of the Constitution of India to the Honorable Apex Court. And Honorable Apex Court holds that in view of the settlement between the parties, the Honorable Apex Court has the power to grant a decree of divorce without waiting for the cooling off period of 6 months. At the same time, Apex Court says that the ground of irretrievable breakdown of marriage between the parties, which has not been set out under the Hindu Marriage Act as a ground for obtaining divorce, is the ground on which a decree of divorce can be passed by the Honorable Apex Court. But such ground cannot be canvassed by way of writ petitions before the Honorable Apex Court or before High Court under Article 32 or 226 of the Constitution of India. But this ground of irretrievable breakdown is the ground on which the divorce decree can be passed. Even in cases where the other spouse is opposing the prayer. The Honorable Apex Court also says that while granting decree of divorce in view of the settlement between the parties who had filed their first motion under Section 13B before the court, the Honorable Apex Court can also set aside the ancillary proceedings pending between the parties, such as Section 125 CRPC, 498A IPC, and other sections of the IPC, Domestic Violence Act. These proceedings can also be set aside. The purpose of citing this is that this is a 5 judges Honorable Apex Court decision wherein they have defined their powers under Article 142(1) of the Constitution of India with regard to the grant of the decree of divorce by mutual consent between the parties who had filed their first motion under Section 13B, and they were unable to wait for the 6 months or more as mandated by the Act itself under Section 13B. So, in order to save them from any pain and sufferings, the parties, if approach Honorable Apex Court by way of transfer application or in other proceedings, then the relief can be granted by the Honorable Apex Court alone under Article 142 of the Constitution of India, and a decree of divorce can be granted. Second purpose is that irretrievable breakdown has not been provided as a ground under the Act. However, if the Honorable Court, Apex Court is satisfied, then this ground can also be taken for granting decree of divorce. Third purpose. All the proceedings pertaining to other acts like the Domestic Violence Act, CRPC, IPC between the parties can also be set aside in view of the terms of settlement between the parties. Thank you.